My name is Nathan. I work here in the film industry, and I found out about blockchain back in 2016, and I thought that it was going to change the world. I think it will, but just at a much faster rate than I thought it was going to be. And so before that, I did mostly casting. So mostly in the commercial world, what I do is I go into the room and the casting director says, okay, you're working for Apple today. We need to see, African American females, 25 to 36, and Caucasian males, 18 to 34, whatever. And then I say, okay. They say, here's the breakdown. And they come in and they stand in front of the line, and I run the camera. So I say, okay, you're gonna stay on this line, and you're pretending that you're a young father, and you look into the camera and you say Apple is great or whatever the product is. And then they do that, and that's my job. So the latest job that we did was the team that I was not part of it. They were blessed enough to do the Super Bowl commercial with the Genesis car with John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. So I thought that was pretty cool. And before that, we've worked with like LeBron James, Neil Brennan, the Sprite commercial that aired. We worked with the directors of Portlandia. Just really big like commercial stuff, Olympic commercials and stuff like that. But with the pandemic, all of Hollywood shut down. Everything's shut down. Dude. It's just nothing's going, and so work has been pretty slow, and we're just gonna wait to see what we can do to kick it back up. And some of the challenges that we're facing right now is from the production side is how we can make sure that nobody gets the virus. Because if somebody gets the virus, then essentially your entire production is going to be shut down. So that's something that we're facing right now. And I guess the main thing that I want to talk about is, does blockchain have a place in film and TV? And I think that it does in the way that the internet has opened up the entire world to information. I feel like blockchain can open up the financing of films, because with how Netflix and Hulu Plus and Disney Plus, and all these other streaming channels are essentially destroying all of the old TV stations. You have CBS, Sony, Fox Studios, and all these other TV stations that used to dominate. They used to just have the best content. They were the only gatekeepers. There's 11 studios here, and they were essentially the only people that could control this whole media cog and help, release whatever they wanted to release. But now with streaming services and them putting over $100 million every quarter to create these new shows, the floodgates are open. Anyone can make any content. Netflix will buy anything that's remotely good that they think will do well. They're going to buy it up. They don't care who you are. They're going to acquire you because that's just the type of monster that they are.
Is that what the model is for Netflix? They'll pay you upfront for script and then you produce, or do you take all the risk and produce and then you sell to Netflix?
It's either or. So on Amazon, I know Amazon's doing the same thing. I have a few buddies that have some movies on Amazon Prime and Netflix as well. So Netflix, as long as you shoot it on a certain type of camera and it's like H.264 or whatever, it's like ProRes 444, whatever the format is. If it's a good format and they can market it, they'll buy it, and they'll buy it for a lump sum. If you're really not known, they'll pay you like 20 grand and then just use it, front page it, So it's all about acquisitions and whatever they want to do. So they will buy it up. It's because the world, especially right now during the pandemic, they're so
starved,
they're so hungry. Yeah, they're so hungry for content. And one of the big things I think that can do really well during the pandemic is to release content now, because everybody's inside, everybody's stuck inside, so everybody's just gonna be watching whatever they put up. And I think the front page is a very, it's everything. I feel like now, because there's so much content out there, whoever can make it on the front page, whoever can negotiate, hey, I have this film, but I want it on the front page for the next 2 weeks.
Hmm.
they're going to get the most traffic. And then, as you know, whoever gets the most traffic gets to continue to work. So yeah, Netflix is buying everything. You can pitch them stuff, but that's a little bit harder because then they want to become the producers. Then you have
Right.
your Netflix originals, right? And so the Netflix originals, then they have a hand in the pot, and they can say, okay, I don't like your idea. Can you shoot it this way?
Hmm.
And it's no longer up to you. But I mean, I think it broadens everything because now you can shoot from anywhere. You can shoot from Canada, you can shoot from Japan, you can shoot from anywhere in the world as long as you have this commodity, this digital footage. You can launch it on Netflix.
Hmm.
So things are changing, and with regards to blockchain, I feel like same with financing. Just because back in the day you have to go through the producers guild or the directors guild, or you have all these unions that kind of work together to stop you from getting what you want to get done. If you don't have a name talent out there, or you don't have the right budget or whatever it is, you can't really shoot. And
It even comes down to like the work that you can hire for a lot of these productions too.
Nathan, I'm just curious, how do you expect, like, I guess, like, I've looked at, like, projects like Vest. I'm also from LA, and did a lot of work. I actually, like, started the UCLA Blockchain Club. So we did a lot of work with,
Nice.
like, CAA. And so I was, like, wondering, how do you think this is going to change? Like, do you think, like, the model's going to go peer to peer? Because we've seen that with, like, Indiegogo, and it's nothing really special. So I think, like, either way, these capital flows are still going to be coming from the same allocators. And, like, how do you address, like, the failings of, I think, like, Indiegogo and Kickstarter, right? And it's just kind of, I always saw blockchain for Hollywood as, like, that's just Kickstarter 2.0.
Do you think it's
Uh,
like medium fish though? Like it's because like the problem with Indiegogo and and Kickstarter is you actually can't get a fiscal return. So like you like you're talking about, oh, it's all these institutional investors investing in films, but I bet you there's a ton of people, much like how angel investing got really hot for technical startups. There's film financiers or people that would like to be armchair film financiers but want actual returns, giving them a better way to invest in films.
yeah, those are a really good question. I think the best way to do it is to because obviously blockchain gives transparency. So if someone can prove that they're the owner or the donator of certain, if you let's say Bitcoin, right? Let's say you don't really need a new token to fund movies. Let's say you just use Bitcoin because it's already established and you can check all the transaction on the blockchain. So let's say somebody wants to invest in the next Godzilla film, and it's going to be $88 million. It's going to have a runtime of 104 minutes, and here's a script. Let's say you want to. There's multiple ways. So one way to change the game would be to let the people who are throwing money down, to let them have a say in the script. So let's say you can bid over this, page 74. You don't like this scene, you want to change, then you guys can have like a bidding war. Whoever donates the most becomes, they can change the script. That's one way. Another way, the better way, I think, would be to offer producers credit. So, you have let's say you have somebody who wants to.
get into the Screen Actors, the Producers Guild. I know a lot of people want to do that.
Exactly, yeah, the
You buy
PGA.
your way into guilds, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like a guarantee because right now the thing with films is like everybody that I talk to, all the executives, the first question they ask me isn't is it an international runtime length? Is it they ask me how is this going to make money back?
Hmm.
Nathan, have you ever seen like protocols like Chainlink before? Or do you know anything about that? Like how you can monitor like events and like do payments based on the event level. So you can actually like monitor, you can actually like have each stream and the amount of minutes on the stream be paid out to the owner. I don't know if you've seen Chainlink or anything having to do with like oracles.
That's the Oracle service, right?
Yeah, they stream trustless data into smart contracts. That's like something that I've always found very interesting for content creators because they could basically be creating content and be paid on like the per like second level of an event, of an internet socket event, like connection to
So like if you have one of those like compilation videos of people falling, like America's Home Video, except you make money off of each piece.
everything. I mean, like content, like that's even what like this QB bullshit is, this $1 billion thing. Like that thing's a total like these guys, like I don't know that thing, like so I don't know, like they're doing short side content. It'd be interesting to see like payments. I'm interested in micro payments for Hollywood. Is there
So Matt, are you saying that Quibi is a $2 billion company if they
everyone
move to the
pirates.
blockchain?
Like everyone pirates, bro. Like IPFS and all this shit. Like everyone pirates, and like kids are so smart. Like, dude, like I'm still interested in like like have popcorn time. Like I don't know how more people don't use popcorn time. Like it's like
What's popcorn time?
Look up popcorn time. It's crazy.
What is it? It's like it's a
He's
streaming
stealing all your movies on the internet.
Popcorn time is a GUI that taps into like decentralized lists of streams, and then like you can just like it's an interface, and then you sock it into the illegal shit. And so like that's like all blockchain's doing is like you can provide a really good UX and then like tunnel that into the illegal content, which is stored on IPFS, or like the content that wants to be shared, basically. Like not illegal, but like the I don't know how they call it, but just like the content. That's what pretty much they're doing. They're like look up popcorn time. It's quite interesting.
popcorn time. Okay.
Well, if you have decentralized file stores, then you have a really good UX. You can just dominate because then you can just provide like an illegal UX and collect payment for the UX, and then all the actual video stream. Like so the service can't be banned because the UX is just forked on GitHub. There's millions of copies of the UX, and the UX doesn't do anything illegal. It's like you're connecting to the servers that are hosting the copyright content. So that's like I always thought like blockchain for Hollywood was gonna be very bad because all of the content's being stored on IPFS can just be interfaced through like a Zoom socket, and like that can just be distributed, and then like people can just charge payments for these illegal services. It's just like gambling. Like dude, Bitcoin is just, like great for gambling right now. Like that's what's going on right now. All these illegal casinos. Are very interesting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on the piracy aspect of IPFS?
I think it's great. I mean, I think content should be free. I think education should be free, but I mean, I feel like I'm on a very other side of the spectrum. I feel like knowledge should be free. I feel like if somebody is really trying to learn something, you shouldn't charge them for it. I mean, you can charge them if they're willing to pay, but it's like if they don't have the money for it, they should be able to learn for free. I feel like
how do you put together blockbuster films though, like Star Wars shit? That shit's gotta people get paid. You gotta pay people to animate.
Like, dude, even the render
You're burning raw
farms,
resources,
dude.
in fact, to generate the computations actually, because there's simulated.
Yeah, like they need like 30 days. They need like 30 days of compute in Dubai.
Dude, yeah, that's what they do.
Just to process fucking.
They render the videos for Star Wars in Dubai, and then they're burning oil to render these videos, essentially.
Because it's the cheapest energy output, and they just have like buildings that just render that shit.
You guys know Westworld?
Yeah.
Westworld? So Westworld, they shoot on real film, and they have like an unlimited budget. They'll shoot for like 24 hours if they have to, and there's something called golden time. It's like if you work over 8 hours, you get paid times 1.5 for overtime, and there's double time, and then there's like 2.5, and then I think golden time is like 3 times your normal pay or whatever. So people walk out there, and so they'll shoot. They don't care. They have like an unlimited budget, and they have this one like crazy digitizing room where they shoot all this film. They have like rolls and rolls of film, and they'll immediately in the same room after they shoot it, they'll feed the film into a digitizer to digitize it. And so they're just turning this, and they're just like completely burning money. And they just have unlimited budget.
Is that like a hipster like fucking thing to do? Shoot on real film and then digitize it?
I feel like it's a rich person problem. I feel like that's like it's like an HBO. HBO, dude, they have like Game of Thrones, like unlimited budget. They'll spend $1 million on an episode.
So I had a question, guys.
Yeah,
sorry, Omer. I'm based in London, but I'm Canadian.
It's good, Omer.
Toronto. Yeah. 2004, I tried to set up a fund to fund movies. A client of mine brought up this idea, and literally looking at statistics of how it would, I started tracking in how exactly these scripts would be financed. And at that time, the problem we had was let's just say we opened it up to mom pops, right? to put in like $10 or whatever. We had to present a risk quantification process, and that's ridiculously hard for movies. And then recently, for example, this chick I had a fling with, she was gonna finance one of the offshoots of Game of Thrones, and the two cast members were at my house in London. And we just met at a pub and whatever, we're talking, and literally the amount of person-to-person politics that plays into how a script even gets adopted. And it's not meritocracy of the script, it's literally who gets involved, who which earns. So in my opinion, for example, that part can't be automated because that's in person, right? You just don't know when the wink comes. Secondly, my mom works on the cable side in Canada, and cables back in the days, you had to subscribe, right? 70, $80, channels, whatever. Now you're paying the same, but $9.99 across different subscription portals. And therefore, it is the content's again getting centralized through the production process. So the only decentralized, he mentioned, was popcorn time, right? Where you can just go find something, or YouTube. Like I was trying to find Shark Week, Discovery's thing in 2019. Dude, it's so hard to find it because even Google is removing those search results. So you got to go on page 10 to find like whatever. And just because I don't have a TV in London, right? I don't have a cable in London. And Netflix or Amazon are going to charge me 10 quid to buy something that I'm only going to maybe sleep through half the time, right? So I'm just wondering, what is the merit of decentralization? And secondly, on the equity financing side, debt financing is very different for films, right? On the equity side, how do smart contracts play in, or what incentive does the common person have? Like me, let's just say I want to put in $50 in a film.
I think it's about taking care of like the UX problems of script design and stuff like that. Jordan can talk all about this kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of like tooling and APIs that can be developed for like the improvement of movie making itself. And then I can see content, I can see software and a lot of tools changing through like AI, basically like text to speech, asking the right questions, like parsing the script, generating questions and suggestions and actual dialogue, right? So I can see a lot of equity actually being generated that way through as we see more and more software that's created. We can see software eating the world. So I can't imagine like what software can be 20, 25 years from now. Like I could definitely see eventual disruption in terms of like payment, in terms of the actual software developing movie process.
Where I can see possibly this thing coming in, to be honest, is because as an English speaking person and whatever, I'm looking at Europe, but captions or translations or dubbing is a big industry in Europe because every freaking country has a different language, and each one of the people is characterized to a character. They go to theaters and watch it in Spanish just because they're used to that voice and not like call it David Hasselhoff or whatever, right? If they heard his real voice, they wouldn't even recognize it because they just know that area, I think, could be transmuted onto blockchain because that's a translation of initial content into another version.
I actually think the distribution of content is like
that's really interesting.
Smart contracts. You have a lot of smart contracts that can be like I just love oracles, and like because a lot of these oracles integrate with traditional payments like via Swift, and so like Swift. I don't know if you know like again Nathan Chainlink. I hate to be the Chainlink shill, but like Chainlink integrates with the Swift banking system. I did invest at 17 cents. But Chainlink integrates with the Swift banking system, and like you can actually trigger contracts based upon and generate revenue deals at the actual local area. That because like I think a lot of movie deals, right? Like they don't even have content in India. In a lot of places, so people are forced to pirate. That's what I think is very interesting.
Yeah, it's country level licensing.
But I don't pirate music anymore because I have Spotify. So like, and I can pirate music, like I can pirate anything, but I choose not to. I have like good services people are willing to pay for, and like there's a
Well, dude,
really
you gotta think about
tough
all like
friction.
it's all the small pieces of products that make up a movie that you have to license like all of them. There's gonna be
All that
the
licensing.
music. You're gonna
Yeah.
need to like there's so much license management that you have to do. That's a place where you'd be
It's
able
like
to do
you just
like
like
some
license
blockchain
your
stuff.
film to a Indian streaming company or like any Chinese streaming company and like have no bullshit because it's all trusted on
Dude,
like
but
per
I think the
socket on the
cooler
analytics
thing
data.
I think the cooler thing is what Omer was saying though, is like how with the subtitles and transcription, like what if you as an actor could license the dubbing of your voice to particular individuals, and then companies can only contract these individuals because it's an extension of your brand.
Yeah.
And then they end up having like you're actually giving more money back to the actor because they're then licensing from the actor to be direct distributors of the transcription of Brad Pitt's fucking German voice. Like,
They're
Yeah.
trying to call these avatars the guys at Singularity University. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
yeah,
They're calling them like these guys think that they're gonna be these like digital copies of ourselves is what they're saying. Like they're like this guy was I was at a meeting with him, David, and like he's the director of
Dude with
Singularity.
glasses, like the older guy with the long hair.
David Orenbeck.
David Orban.
With
Orban.
glasses, right? Like genius. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
remember.
was at a meeting with David Orban, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna you know, I'm not gonna tell you when, but like I'll have my Twitter be a bot. Like, it's gonna be an AI at one point. If people are just gonna like write me to speak, and it'll be my AI. And he's like, no, and like I think like that could be more and more of like AI is just gonna keep on getting proliferated. For more,
Do you, for example, oops. Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, as he was mentioning, he'd subscribed in Spotify, right? And then you see artists who are saying their individual content, they're not getting paid for it because they're through studios and labeling. It's a different industry structure, the movies, right? Because movies is a big production, right? So do you see any similarities between music industry and
Dude,
film?
music is so different though, because like I have my friend up now, and these guys are all like my upstairs neighbor's a music producer, and like these guys are coming up as cloud rappers now, where they develop these huge SoundCloud followings, and then
Right.
they just own the fucking whole shit because they're producers who just have like 1 million SoundCloud followers, and they're totally indie, and so that's just like what's interesting is like you can just release content onto any platform, and then the creators really are starting to own more of the IP. That's like
Well, it's
that's
the
what I see more
distribution,
and more.
dude. But
Distribution is
it's like,
commoditized. It's a fucking
mhm.
IP stream. It's an IP socket that goes into the browser, and then you just have UX around it. That's how I see that's how I see distribution, and like really the creators are just going to see more and more benefit, and the capital providers are going to have an easier like way to turnkey finance these scripts. You'd have like so many things around identity and permissions involved in like sharing scripts. There's so many leaks involved. So you'd have like certain timestamps and certain like encryption, right? The scripts can be encrypted, and only people who can have certain permission access, identity document access, all sorts of things. I don't know, like OAuth permissions involved, all sorts of security on the IP involved in all sorts of like movie making files. Like Sony would never get hacked again if they had that kind of shit. If it like companies are just gonna look forward to rolling these solutions. I don't know if anyone knows Tony Greenberg, but he's like a fucking genius.
Yeah, Tony.
Tony G would like Jordan. I don't even know like how you could even get Tony Green. Tony Greenberg like built a lot of the data centers for Hollywood. That was like his big job was like negotiating data center SLAs. So like service level agreements are just getting like reduced as AWS proliferates. So
Dude, yeah,
it's so easy to make a streaming product now.
Because you can congregate all your fucking like contracts into like one that also has a payday to get you on AWS and just be
Dude,
fucking
and serverless
stuck.
programming, Nathan, is fucking crazy. We're like the stack is at 0, so you pay 0 until the inbound request comes in, and then like your compute cluster grows as your traffic grows, and then dies as your traffic dies. So like you
I
can
mean,
pay
it depends
0.
on like how you
Someone
set it
comes
up,
into
but
your
yeah.
stream.
damn. Is my time up? Is it? Well, how long do we have to?
Half hour. You got 3 minutes.
I got 3 minutes. Any questions? Anybody want to know anything?
Hello.
Where do you see yourself, like, where do you see yourself making the biggest impact in, like, blockchain? Like, you're so, like you wanted to give a talk on this. Like, where do you see yourself doing this in like, a couple months?
I think it would be in a way to kind of track the financial aspect of it, because I feel like there's been so many ICOs, you know, back in 2017 that raised like $500 million that aren't doing shit. You know, they dipped out.
You said $4 billion.
Oh, EOS? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's like $4 billion exit scams, and it's like nobody's held accountable. So if we can produce movies through using blockchain, but also link it in with the PGA, the Producers Guild, the Directors Guild, and all the unions, even though that's like really, it's still like kind of counterintuitive. We can hold people accountable, and then the people who can trust to, you know, invest into the movies can actually get something back with like their agreements and whatever, and maybe using blockchain for legality, for media user rights and etc. Stuff like that. And then to
Veronica Reynolds? You should connect with Veronica Reynolds.
Who that?
She's like she's like an entertainment, like she was a co-founder of the UCLA blockchain lab, and like her husband's like Les Borsa. He's pretty into like the blockchain and movie talent business. He's like digital, you know, like Wave Financial here in LA.
Yeah, dude, I know them. Yeah.
He's at Wave, but like definitely connect with him.
What's his name?
Wife's
Tom?
Les Borsa, and then like Veronica Reynolds is his wife.
Okay. Yeah, I can drop my email into the group. For sure. You guys can hit me up.
Yeah, I mean, so Jordan actually like used to like Jordan. Talk about your background. Like we were both so involved in blockchain. This has been like the best discussion so far.
Yeah, nah, we've been in this for a hot minute.
Oh, there you go. I got 30 seconds.
Yeah, dude. I'm about to hit you with my headshot later.
Nathan, by the way,
email me your headshot resume. What's up?
Oh, I'm just kidding, but yeah.
We're improving. So I'm part of a biotech company in Toronto, and we've got a breakthrough on COVID-19. So hopefully we should improve the accuracy of the testing within 3 months' time. So that's the projection, to about 80%. Huh?
Is it hydrochloroquine?
No.
You're funny as shit for that.
Well, I'll email that to you. Take care.